Alright, everybody, back with another black game. Gonna be trying out the Caro-Kann and looking to meet advanced variation in spicy fashion. But so far, we just have good old Tartakower. I'm gonna get knight to f8. I was about to say castle's long. This is super risky. This is mega giga risky. So bishop e6 tempo. Threatening to take because b3, I have bishop a3, funny mate. Has to do king b1 and now some b5 move should be good. And then knight goes to b6. F4. That doesn't convince me. F5, I have bishop d5. H3, yeah, I mean, white's attack should be very slow. I have knight c4 to win bishop pair. I think that's actually quite clever. If I win light square bishop, that's his most important attacking piece. He has to make that strategic concession because queen c1, I have knight e3, queen e3, and I'll let you pause the video and find winning move for black. It's important to have awareness for duel on the distance, rook behind queen, and then bishop a2, check, and then win queen. So he has to give it up and play g4, but now without light squared bishop, this attack shouldn't be anything. Yeah, probably, you know, this bishop, I'm looking at it, it's nice, but it's not really doing anything. So I think I'll just duck it next to the king, so it leaves space for queen d5 or bishop d5. I can also play next move. G5, so I can sidestep, keep it closed, or I can do queen d5. Queen d5. Yeah, I like queen d5 because it's threatening to take knight and then bishop. So b3 loses piece. And it's actually not so easy to defend knight. If you play queen f2, I take on a2 check. And then I can even play f5, keep it locked. Or maybe continue attack. Let's see how my opponent will defend knight. Yeah, queen f2, what else to do? I have also queen e4, attacking bishop, but probably move that screams to be played is to take, and could consider bringing the queen over. Queen c4, he has b3 idea, but then I have queen c3, and then I win Zabishi, so I'm tempted to think this is best move. Threatening queen a4, and then bishop, almost mate. So this, and then I have check and at least cash back. At least cash back, but maybe better. I think probably the play is b3, check, and then take with rook. So I keep queens on the board, tempo, and attack. Some energetic Tartakower, I know. Who said Tartakower was boring? I mean, it can get pretty dry sometimes when both sides castle kingside, and then let's say you fail to generate an attack. But in general, Tartakower is dream opening for Caro-Kann player. If white was forced to enter Tartakower, I'm telling you, way more people would have played Caro-Kann. Most people are afraid of advanced variation. Okay, queen a4, so he does this, but to solve problem of bishop, I can do this to take away escape square, or I can start with the checks. So maybe just right away, bishop b4. Bishop b4, yeah, I can do c3, but at least I pick up rook. So bishop b4, I think very clever move, sidestepping that. Also, notice how I'm using his pawn as an umbrella pawn. Don't take, many beginners would have taken, but then white can get attack. Play bishop b4 and hide behind this pawn as a shield. We use it as an umbrella pawn, which is a concept that I prepared for my upcoming book on strategy. Wink, wink. Now, besides that, my opponent is cooked. I don't know if you like that phrase, but it feels like he's pretty cooked. I have bishop d5 and bishop e4. Or bishop b3, take on d1, bishop b3, check, check on a1, take on b2, has king e1. Yeah, that should be okay. I mean, I also have a simple cash out with bishop d1. Bishop d1, cb, rook e3. Queen takes, queen c2. Now we have to take his king for walk. Check, 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 or check. Bishop c3, king f1. Okay, I mean, this has to be enough. He cannot block with bishop because of the pin. And we win on e3 or on d1. King e2, but this feels mating. It's trying to hang on to the bishop, but we have more people coming to the party. And yeah, bring the checkmate bell. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, I don't checkmate very often. I'm sorry. It's buying a checkmate bell would not be justifiable purchase. So we just have to use imaginary one for now. Okay. All right, everybody. Back with another white game. Facing National Master. Gonna be going for the Jobava London. Okay, e6. So very important move order. Don't play e4 because that would get you back into French defense. So if you're trying to play English attack, that doesn't work against this specific move order. So just avoid French transposition. And most likely we will get back into normal Jobava territory. Although if they play knight e4, this is actually something that a lot of newer players struggle with. The key is to not play queen d3. Most people do queen d3. I'd never play queen d3 myself, but do knight e2. So this is also why I don't rush knight f3 move in Jobava, especially in these spinning lines. You're benefiting from extra support, and then you can question the bishop. So now all the annoying pressure will be removed, and well, we have easy game. I can probably continue multiple ways. Queen g4 if you feel funky. Do I feel funky? I mean, just look at me. Boom. Queen g4. Okay. Do we even need to pause and think about that answer? Is the question. Of course not. No. Queen g4. Okay, no. Jokes aside, this is an idea that works more specifically whenever we're dealing with such kind of an early fianchetto. I could have also done bishop d3 because grabbing on g2, not really a good option. Leaves black with unsafe king, but I think queen g4 quite nice. And now, well, this essentially means you'll have to castle queenside, which is pretty risky business. I'd love to now just play bishop d3 and target that. I don't think he even has g5 because I just grab. Maybe. g5, I can also just go back. Okay, g6. Now I'd like to play h4. Can also do bishop g5 and he does f6. Can also just castle. Can I play chess like a normal person and castle? The answer is no. Why would you play chess like a normal person? Who plays chess like a normal person? h4, bishop there. here. These are my main candidate moves. Also, there is that idea to open him up later on. He wants to do knight c6, probably d6, e5 in future. So I'm trying to figure out how to position my pieces in case of that. So h4, just because g5, it looks like he has to worry about bishop h7, and when this gets played, this setup makes so much more sense, because then we can weaken g6. He has to play d6 because I have a fret, so this move gonna be there, and okay. Now we have to wait a second. Bishop g6, f6, bishop back. Am I getting trapped? What? f6, bishop there. Why not? I'd really love to provoke some additional weakening. I can also just do queen h3, g4, if I wouldn't hang the rook. So his plan still remains connected with e5. I am overthinking this. I am totally overthinking it, but it's a very difficult board. I think I have to play e4 and reposition so that I don't get hit in the face with e5. Might also do this and actually not get my bishop trapped. So it's also useful in that way, which arguably is a sign that it's a good move. Lost a bit of time with it. Now let's be annoying. Make f6 so that all these pawns are going to be quite fishy. Provoking the weakness. So yes, now pawn on e6 is soft, pawn on g6 is soft. I can castle safely, not afraid of g5. It's going to be quite slow. And yeah, let's just castle. We open him up. a4, a5 after long castle. He has to castle, otherwise he's playing down a rook. And now we do it like this. If he plays a5, yeah, we should be able to somehow attack. Somehow. So initially this is the plan, but now the more I look at it, I'm realizing it's kind of well defended. Huh. Yeah, I don't really understand what's going on. I don't understand anymore. Maybe I just have to play f4. g5, it feels like he's getting attack. So let me stop it. f4. Just so that he doesn't get g5, and if I stop his play, then I can think of something of my own. Yeah, e5. I don't mind this trade. Not at all. Yes, okay, his bishop activates, but if none of his other pieces are active, it doesn't bother me. He has a good bishop. Yeah, so I like this move because the bishop activates. This was a great trade for me, actually. It's just difficult because I don't have a pawn break. Don't have obvious pawn break. Wow, he gives me exchange. Exchange not super important in this position, but we'll take it and then just try to annihilate his strongest piece. And annihilate it simply by exchanging. So this can be potentially game-winning maneuver, guys. Take notes. You spot opponent's most active piece, usually a good idea to exchange it. His bishop was controlling just count squares on the diagonal. His bishop was eyeballing like 6 squares at once. Has to be decent idea to exchange such a bishop. Okay, let's try to play for king also, and queen can switch sides. I have to, I'd love to play endgame, but the position remains unbalanced. Target on b6, knight covers it well, but if we double up rooks, should be no problem. Curious whether he'll do g5 or not. He doesn't. Well, d5, he allows passed pawn. If he gives him passed pawn, then that's gonna be something extra to babysit. So his pieces can get overloaded. Now e6 and queen comes in. Let's do c4, defend, and maybe switch. If knight e4, queen e5 maybe. Queen e5. He cannot take on h4 because of queen c7, and I'm looking at d6. He has good blockade. Can also take and do rook f7. Takes, rook f8. Has to be winning endgame. Let's do it. I'm doing it just because I don't have time and it feels like I'll have easy pre-moves. But because his rook is passive and my king can come to support the pawn quickly, this feels like easy win. Even in king and pawn endgame, I have passed pawn and he does not. So even if I lose f7, this felt winning because I have d pawn and this cannot promote, this cannot be pushed. He cannot get a passer. I cannot talk English, he cannot get a passer. Well, it's a fair deal. Okay, he's entering Zugzwang soon. I'm playing king e5. Okay, I'm playing rook f6 or g3. No, d6, king d5. He's Zugzwang. He's running, he just has no moves. This is what definition of a Zugzwang means. Okay, he resigned. I had to show some technique there. Not sure how the position was. f4, should be better, but it looks very complicated. Yeah, f4, the position was indeed very complicated. Okay. All right, everybody. Back with another black game. So looking to play either Caro-Kann or King's Indian. Caro-Kann it is. Caro-Kann and Fantasy. Okay. Fantasy. Let's play Twisted Fantasy and I'll show you my secret line. So the idea is to play bishop c5, queen b6, and on knight a4, I no longer check, but I play bishop f2, queen d4. So this is important. Now many people actually blunder and then go queen e3, but queen d4, and this is leading to very surprising unorthodox position because we'll see queen trade and then white plays f4. And we might have something where his king lands on e4 like it's king of the hill. So it's pretty much forced, I believe, to take because both knights are under pressure. So we'll have trade of queens and then pawn f4 usually is how it happens. I had a few games. Also on computer, it's not fully equalizing, but I think it's close to equality enough that it keeps so interesting play and white has difficult moves to make that it's worth playing this line. Knight c3, okay, now this I should be able to take. Does it make sense to take on e5 and play for compensation? Wait. DE, am I getting tricked? He plays f4 or what? No, I mean, if f4, I have f6 and should be normal stuff. He might try to out-clever me with f4. Okay, this I'm very happy. I think this has to be good. Because I get tempo move and he has so many isolated pawns that I can afford to give up the bishop pair. So super important that he doesn't just keep my king in the center with bishop a3. I think I should be in time with the counterplay like e5 and then maybe now just knight d5 or knight e4 rather. Yeah, rather knight e4 because on knight d5 he still had tempo and on this I'm in time with the castle. Castle, king e3, knight c5, bishop a3 and okay, I can defend the knight in somehow. Knight d7 or b6. Yeah, just don't play bishop f5 because you're self-pinning, but knight here should be reasonable. Yes, he has that move, but at least knight d7 and then I unpin. At least and also at best probably. It's actually very funny when you hear a chess player say at least. Just so you know, okay, I'm giving away little industry secret. When you hear chess master say, I have at least this, it's usually only that. It's how do you say, professional flow of the job of the flow. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just as lost as you are in this moment. Okay. I'm just trying to make sense of this fantasy. Well, making sense of it, I have winning pawn structure. So he has 4 isolated pawns. Usually, one isolated pawn is bad enough. 4 cannot be so good. But okay, it's we still have to prove it. Let's give check, just somehow trying to get my knight out of the pressure and yeah, maybe move the other one so we can one day develop the bishop. Now he gives me bishop pair at the cost of improving his structure. I think we have to accept it just to develop my pieces. That may or may have not been a good decision. We'll see. I didn't realize his pawns are so fast. Damn it, his pawn is actually fast. Do I play f6 to isolate his pawns? I'm also not in time to... Oh man, this is so randomly bad. Do you like that saying? This is so randomly bad. Because now he gets d5 and I'm not in time to put a knight. Something that should have been good, it's now so randomly bad. I'm worse. This sucks. But maybe you're having a good time. I'm not having a good time. Okay, rook d8. Rook d8 attacking. At least if I can make this pawn push, at least I'll know what to expect from future. This uncertainty kind of bothers me. Okay, bishop back, attacking pawn. Has to play d6, I believe. And now... I want to move my knight, but then that gives him knight f5. And if I do knight d5, he has knight b5. Okay, knight b5, at least hoping bishop e6. Makes some sense. If knight a7, I will have... maybe not winning, but at least would be very risky to grab. Okay, we managed to stop the pawns. We managed to stop them, but for how long? That's another question. Okay, I think we have to take. His pawn is near promotion, but we do have opposite colored bishops, so looks like I can reposition to c6 and I should be relatively safe. Bishop is stopping the fun, and I do have a passive position, but so he does. Yeah. I don't think that was proper English. But already there is, I think you'd rather see me play a new opening than hope I will learn proper English in this lifetime. Okay. King h7, king g6, rook a5. I can actually win that pawn. Could have done it for a few moves, maybe. Let's keep 2 rooks. It feels like I can play for attack and he's in time scramble. Trying to be practical. Okay, he missed rook g6. He's losing track of the board. That's good. Bishop b5, he still has check. He's missing h4 pawn. He missed long move. Okay. Pressure. Just sidestep checks. Okay, h5, maybe get more pressure. Attack bishop, he missed long move again. Well, he was in time scramble, so. Okay, wow. Caro-Kann fantasy variation with the twisted fantasy. By the way, for beginners, this is a line that actually happens all the time for beginners. They don't know that knight c3 is the good move, so beginners usually take on d5, you hit them with queen b6, then they end up moving the knight and you get to deliver this hilarious checkmate. You have no idea how many people have already delivered this checkmate. So for beginner, this variation is by far the best against fantasy. You just get so many free wins. Already white is out of book when you play e5 below 2000. But even at higher levels, I think this is really quite interesting to play. This position is not obvious at all for white with king. Usually theory goes into bishop e3 and then f6, but as I said, I mean, playing this position with king on e4 really is not that easy, and the pawn on e5 can drop in many lines. You have ideas to complete development. Knight is also strangely placed. All right, everybody. New game. White pieces. Gonna be going for the Jobava blueprint facing candidate master. Good luck, good luck, good luck. d4. Hoping to see a pawn on d5 within the first 3 moves. So if he doesn't do that, I'm not gonna be able to play Jobava. I'll have to do something different, like English attack, in case he gives me center. So I do knight c3, bishop f4, and we might see a pawn land in the central box. So I really need black to put pawn in the central box so that I can play Jobava London. If he refuses to do it and plays something else, like let's say pawn to d6, the Jobava London wouldn't really be that effective. So if you put bishop on f4, you can still do it, but pawn protects pawn and restricts your bishop in that case. So on d5, notice that the bishop is really well placed. It just has a lot of pressure on the diagonal, which wouldn't be the case if there would be pawn on d6, where a pawn is protected by a pawn, and that would really restrict your bishop. Just a little bit of a detail for the beginners watching. You want to scan the board, really understand why you make certain moves, so that you use more like opening understanding rather than opening memorization, because memorization fades away in long run. Knight f6 he plays, I'm gonna do e3, so it's important that he plays light square bishop inside the pawn chain against Jobava. We are playing the Jobava London in pretty much 2 different schemes. Let's say the big picture. So in case he has light square bishop inside the pawn chain, like here, we do bishop d3, knight f3, castle short. In case he goes bishop outside the pawn chain, we go pawn storm. So bishop outside the pawn chain, we pawn storm castle long. Bishop inside the pawn chain, we castle short. So just by having these simple rules, let's say, you can write them down and then remember it easily in your games. So he plays queen d6. You can usually defend your pawn with g3. It's actually quite funny. Many newer players are usually afraid to enter this double f pawn structure because it feels for the untrained eye that the pawn on f4 is vulnerable, but you can always protect it. And yeah, now b6, very interesting move, because normally I would like to meet c5 with c3, so for that I would need to play knight e2. But we got it in such a move order that knight e2, when you do blunder check, you see he has a move that wins a pawn. So here I'll have to castle, and c5 would make it tricky. He plays bishop b7, which I think it's a mistake. it's better for black to do bishop a6. So key idea, he has a bad bishop. He needs to exchange it to equalize in the double f pawn structure. That is the key for black to equalize. Now I will be able to have small advantage just because my bishop is going to be more active than his. And plays knight c6, okay. I could put a knight on e5. I could do rook e1. This is an interesting game we're actually getting. Let's do rook e1. Just playing something quick. I could put queen on d2 because knight e4 usually is comfortably met by queen e3. I could also do knight e5. I think I like knight e5, and if cd4, very important, I will take with knight. So actually on cd4 I can take on c6 intermezzo as well. That's even better. Yeah, that's even nicer. So I take intermezzo. He doesn't have counter intermezzo. He has to capture the knight. If I had queen on d2, he would have had counter intermezzo. But on this one, expecting rook or bishop takes, and then I take with knight. And I get strong knight in the center and a very thematic structure. So this is how double f pawns can evolve. Black takes on, wow, he does counter intermezzo. That's just strange to play down a piece, to decide to play down a piece like that. I mean, knight goes back and I'll win this pawn. Wow, really shocking decision. I was not expecting that. Spoiling kind of a nice game, potentially. These structures are actually very, very interesting. I was just working on them, preparing Jobava course the other day. So, and now it just gives me peace. I mean, I love her queen trade. I have extra piece. Kind of a pity. He just, I don't know why he decided to do intermezzo. I even called it, sometimes it's an idea, but it just makes no sense here. I guess this knight on d4 was so scary that he wanted to complicate the matters. There's no way he thought my knight was getting trapped because I had multiple ways to retreat. Anyways, knight c5, so he attacks my bishop. Let's keep it. I can also defend, but normally I like to sidestep than to defend for no reason. It's bad to, let's say, give defensive jobs to your pieces when you can just walk away. There's no reason to stay under tension. If I watch beginner games, people love to stay under tension. But then when you stay under tension, you're vulnerable to getting overloaded. And then some tactic may appear. Like for instance, now there is under tension, bishop's under tension, it's defended by knight. So if he's not careful, one day b4 can be a problem. Removing defender of the bishop that is under tension. If I do b4, probably I will. He has still intermezzo. But now maybe I can take on c5 and I win a pawn. Yeah, that's very clever actually. So this is attacked and threatening to win on b6, another pawn. Maybe not win it immediately, but at least creating a target. I could also, let's say, answer bishop c4 with maybe move like c6. So he goes there. Yeah, let's take, I could take on b6, but I have to watch out for rook c4. I should have rook a4 and be pretty safe. Defend the knight. Key move, and he cannot back up the rook because of back rancor. So this should be smooth conversion. I need to watch out. Okay, only way I can mess up this game still is by allowing some sort of back rancor. Considering to play either king g2 or f3 in near future. Now it's pretty nice. I have tempo move, rook a4, also bishop a bit vulnerable in the distance. King g2, preparing also rook b4, rook b7, rook b8 ideas. So yeah, I told you only way I can mess it up is with some back rancor, so just don't allow back rancor. Now f3, king f2. Still, he'd love to try some activity, but has to watch out for his own problems. And now king f2. So idea g4, king g3, and d5. I should be able to take and move my knight. Yeah, why not? Knight c6. Still idea maybe g4, maybe bishop e4, and we collect. Okay, he goes there. I look for check, but okay, the rook is defended anyways. I'll protect knight and also have idea to skewer. Now I'd love to skewer, but have to watch out whether the pawn escapes. So I take on e6, he takes with bishop. I have knight e7, but what if bishop there takes and he cannot do king anywhere because of back ranker. So I'll play knight e7, king f8, and then I'll do rook c6 and I win pawn. So just need to make sure, okay, it's it can still get tricky, but I calculated I have this move catching the pawn. Very important. You want to watch out for last drop of counterplay, otherwise you can mess up good games even with one silly pawn like that, which shouldn't get anywhere. I could have also played it in easier way if I couldn't work it out, move my move. And now, yeah, okay, this is easy theoretical win. He will lose on time, so I can't even show you theoretical win. But yeah, we get to convert. Clean game in general. Just a pity in opening. He had first mistake to not play bishop a6 and exchange the bad bishop. And then he just gave away the game, taking on b2 for no reason. On c3, I mean. This was great. Very, very good move. Say, in case you don't see intermezzo knight c6, it's important to not allow knight b4. This is quite annoying. Would have been quite annoying in combination with the rook. This is painful. So way better, you might have to allow isolated pawn sometimes. It's better to allow it like this, although yes, this is still quite annoying, queen b4. Game is about equal, not super comfortable. Still not super comfortable, so very happy with this intermezzo move I found, but yeah, he had to play bishop takes and we just have a thematic game. This is where it all begins. This is the kind of position where, let's say, we start talking in my Jobava course. This is where the model games start. This is what, let's say, everybody can have. All right, everybody, we are back with another black game. Opponent goes pawn to e4, which means that we're gonna be Caro-Kanning. Which variation will it be? Okay, he plays the advanced variation. So this is the starting position of Caro-Kann. He can take the pawn, he can defend his own pawn, or he can advance. Now, we'll play the c5 line because this is the most aggressive one in the center, and it really, let's say, gives white the fewest options to play. Possible to do bishop f5, but that requires a lot of additional variations that you need to know, like h4, g4, c4, knight c3, really lots of stuff. c5, dc, and now I want to experiment with this move pawn to e6. So I recommend knight c6 in my chessable course, but I want to also play this e6 one. Opponent plays a3, so I will take, and my idea is to put bishop on e7. The bishop looks very weirdly blocking the knight, but the point is that we will break with f6, and then we will also play a5. So a5 has very good synergy with this bishop on e7. It actually makes a lot of sense that the bishop is on e7. It's pressuring this pawn on b4 that white pushed a bit early, and we can attack it by also creating this weak square on c5. It's not really weak square, it's just weakening it, because maybe at some point we can use a knight move. Now knight d7 developing with pressure, and if I can recall correctly, my drills, I'm supposed to play knight h6 because he no longer has the bishop, he has the bishop supporting. It's alternative to take, but I think I'm supposed to do knight h6, knight f7, and castle. He'll play with c4. Let me Let me think about this for a second. Can also take on e5 with knight. Takes with bishop and I play knight f6. He does c4 and I castle. That's also one way to do it. I think I start with knight move, however. I'll have to check after the game. Um, Knight h6, knight f7, yeah, take with bishop. In case he goes for it. Yep, take with queen. This is modern theory, okay? If you're a beginner watching chess, trying to make any sense of this, never play f6, never pawn play before castle. This is just how modern Caro-Kann works if you play the best line. It's kind of difficult also for me to understand it. I'm still learning it as for now. c4, knight e5 I want to play. It's a move that feels natural to exchange and activate. Knight takes, he does some bishop e2. Problem is, if I take on c4, I just have bad structure. Can I play knight c5, bishop c2, and then just do some d4, e5? Yeah, it feels like I don't want to give him easy isolated pawn. So why not knight c5 and then try to play d4? So I have this, as I told you earlier, strong square on c5. I didn't know in advance I'm actually going to be able to put the knight. If I remember, maybe this is one of my drills. Now, in one of my drills, I had this idea to play b6, bishop b7. But I don't understand why I wouldn't play d4 right away here. Because b6, you just give him that. So I think it's improved version if I just do d4 and then maybe later. Okay, knight b3. So I cannot quite get e5 move by move. But I should be able to take him b6. He has no discoveries, so b6 should be in time. e5, he wants maybe c5, but then e4, it's questionable. Yeah, I like e5 with idea e4. Big frat to just restrict his pieces or like that. Oh, wow, knight back. I forgot about this move. He wants knight e4, which I'd love to stop. For that, I can either do queen g6, but then he has bishop d3. Or knight g5. I think I prefer knight g5 because h4 creates a weak pawn on the king. So I'll move and then he has weakness. That's bishop d3. Really wants to get blockade. Makes sense for him. Don't see how I can attack him. Maybe I can just try to be annoying and get a knight on f4. And he puts knight on e4, but at least I can try to be somewhat annoying with knight on f4. Aha, bishop e4. That gives me blockade. That gives me good blockade. I could also try knight f4. I think I take the blockade with bishop f5 here. Just completing development. Should perhaps still be close to equal. Very complicated game. Knight protects pawn. He could do rook e1. Might as well. Might as well do myself rook e8. Yeah, let's protect. I have knight d3. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it was a candidate. b6 also perhaps. Just supporting knight, making sure it's defended. Does knight b3, protected by the queen. I could do knight d3, I could take. I mean, this guy really plays fast. I blundered the b7 pawn. But I have bishop c8. Takes on e4, I take on f2. Yes, this is great. He cannot take on e4. So he has to trade bishops, but then I take and I take back. So at least this is tricky now. I have very strong pawns. e3, e2 I want to do. Let's do e3, e2, queen f1. This is what I want to do. I could have maybe started, yeah, that just gave him good move. Still e2, but yeah, now he got a blockade. I messed it up. I should have done a reverse move order, push the other pawn. Okay, queen b6, what to do? Okay, e2. I don't know. Hope this works. Don't ask me what is going on. Don't ask. Just just vibes. Queen c3. I can promote. Could just be lost. Probably just lost. Realistically, just lost. Yeah, now has b7. Very close game. Very close game. If I do d3, I'm surely winning. I got interesting position. So opening wise, yeah, knight h6, good move. I took, this was good. I missed e5. He was supposed to do c4 quicker. Had the idea to gain big advantage. Then I'm fine. 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 Better. I have knight d3. Couldn't tell. e3, close to winning. Yeah, and this is winning. Just do d3. I didn't realize he gets such a powerful blockade. I mean, I already had just 30 seconds at this moment. Thanks everybody for making it all the way this far into the video. Now, as a quick update, I'm pushing to release my website on August 4th and also release my course on strategic fundamentals. I cannot 100% promise that date, but I'm really working to make it happen. Currently, I'm recording the videos for the strategic course. And also, I will be traveling to play tournament. So hopefully, if everything fits well into my busy schedule, we will be back with the over-the-board videos August 4th. So thanks everybody for all the support, and I'll catch you in the next one.